Let's go to Craig from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Craig from Montreal, you were on the air.
Hi, David. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. It's my first time calling into any show, so thanks for having me.
Well, listen, I
Um,
don't know if you know this. Montreal, one of my favorite places in the northeast of the continent, I guess I would say.
that's a specific part of the continent, but I love that, we're over New York City, I guess, in that ranking, if
Well, I
I'm
didn't say
correct.
over. I said one of my favorite.
Okay, I'm gonna
Yeah.
stop getting cocky here. But it's actually good that you got another Canadian on the line because I was just listening to the We Charity comments.
Yeah.
He's not obviously the numbers were way off that he gave,
Right.
but the scandal does exist. So his mother Margaret Trudeau got paid at around $250,000. So a
Okay.
big
All right.
difference
That I
from
believe, and that
700
sounds
million.
that certainly sounds like the type of cronyism we've come to be very accustomed to in the United States.
Exactly. The
Yeah.
the program itself, they were given around $900 million,
Yeah.
and some of these payments, like his Trudeau's wife, got like $1,500 for speech.
Yep.
It's like and I I hate this kind of corruption, and it's part of why I'm calling you. I guess I'm a little bit vague. I don't have a direct question, but something that you talk about frequently on the show is how the world is sadly looking at the U.S. right now,
Hmm.
and it's something that's we're looking at the U.S. sad, but we're also feeling that influence spreading into our countries as well. And just in Montreal in the last couple of months, we had a Trump rally, not a Trump rally, sorry, a Trump protest kind of, where it was an anti-mask mixed with Trump 2020
Oh dear
protest.
God,
And this is in Montreal, Quebec, and
that's
it's
insane.
just to say how far this spreads and how far this mentality of misinformation um, goes deeper than just Donald Trump. And
Yeah.
I have a really hard time putting my finger on this phenomenon and knowing how we can defeat it. Because once facts are out of the game or once reasonable conversation is out, um, you know, and I feel like what the last two sentences I just said are said on the right too. Like they say, we're not reasonable. We don't want to talk.
Of course,
So,
yeah, but I
so
mean,
it's so
Trump
difficult.
Trump protests in Montreal are quite a new that's a new level. That's pretty wild. Now, let me ask you this:
Go ahead.
Within Canada, what is the perception of, like, okay, in Europe it tends to be you look to the country to the west and you think you're better than them. So the Spanish think
Yeah.
they're better than the Portuguese, and the French think they're better than the Spanish, so on and so forth. In Canada, do the Quebecois think they are better than the non-French Canadians, or how does that hierarchy work?
So that's interesting, and you're talking, I'm actually a French Canadian. I've just been lucky to speak. I went to Ontario for school
Hmm.
for a little while, so I speak really good English, but so I'm actually French Canadian. So coming from this background, I'd say the whole separatism thing and French English like culture war has definitely died down over the last few decades. But
Oh,
don't
okay.
forget, like our last referendum to separate from Canada was in the 90s.
Right.
So it's not these legacies aren't far off, and there's still people like that I grew up with that are for the Parti Québécois, which is separatist, and there's actually left wing parties in Quebec, like Quebec Solidaire, for example, that have extremely awesome left wing ideas and really want are pro multiculturalism, environmentalism, and stuff, but also have separatist ideas. So
Interesting.
it's a funny mix of stuff here going on in Quebec. But my main issue, like you were saying, though, yes, Quebec. Like there is something called the Western alienation in Canada, where the Western provinces, British Columbia, Saskatchewan, Alberta, feel alienated by the Eastern provinces because that's where the economy is the biggest and
Right.
also where the heads of power are.
So it sounds like
Um,
you're saying you do think you're better than Matt from Windsor.
Absolutely. I don't know. I would love to take that back. No, but I guess what I'm saying is I find the left, it's hard to be on the left sometimes because I want to be on the left with a government like Trudeau, but they lose credibility with their corruption and he was in blackface. It's
Yeah.
just, it's hard to take them seriously. And you also have new parties coming in, like the People's Party of Canada, which is kind of a Trump, kind of a Tea Party-ish vibe. So I'm
Gotcha.
worried about all these powers coming up in countries that are known to be really liberal.
Yes, that is a global trend. Well, listen, I appreciate the call. Have you ever been to the great cafe Tommy in Old Montreal?
Absolutely. I used
That's
to
a great
go
spot.
there.
That's one of my
Yes, and
favorite spots.
if you come back, I'd recommend going to Cafe Myriad.
Okay, very good. And the coffee will be appropriate there. I won't have a
Oh,
problem.
absolutely. I've even worked there, so I vouch for them.
Very good. All right, Craig from Montreal, thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, very good. We're going to take a quick break. If you are holding on to talk to me, please don't hang up because we're going right back to the phones.